Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to part 51 of the Great Farm Cleanup. I'm in the workshop this evening. I've got the fire going. I'm doing a bit of sorting out. Now, I've only got here today about lunchtime, and I've already got part 50 up, which you've probably seen if you're following along this series. So I thought I'd start the next part straight away. What I'm doing in the shed is I'm actually trying to make some pretty good progress here, and I'll spend a couple of evenings here this week, and I'll also spend a bit of time in Mum's shed. Even though we're moving her and we have to do a lot of household stuff, I've still got a lot of work to do cleaning up Dad's old workshop stuff, and there's still lots of stuff around the farm that I have to clean up. And I will be doing that ongoing as I come back. But it's great to get out here in the evenings and have the fire going and just sort a bit of stuff, listen to the radio, which I've just turned off because I'm filming. But I'll show you what I'm up to this trip and what I want to get done, and then we'll go and have a look in Mum's shed as well. So for those who have been following, you know that I'm sorting stuff out, a bit like a garage sale. I need to sort out all the stuff in the middle of this shed, and I want to get this done this week so that we have a nice expanse in the middle here, and it actually looks like we're getting stuff done. So I'm going to continue sorting through these drawers and shelves over in this corner. This is the only corner that I really hadn't tackled, and I don't know what's in some of these, so we'll have a bit of a fossick under the bench here and in some of the boxes. I've just started working along the bench here. There's really not much of interest. There's just a lot of hardware and just stuff. I'll show you how I'm sorting it and how I'm processing it. Last trip I did manage to get all those cupboards emptied at the end, and I started on the back ones there. There's still a little bit of stuff in those cupboards, but we're making pretty good progress. I'm just kind of ignoring all this stuff in the middle of the room, but I do want to make some progress there this week. So we'll go and have a look in Mum's shed, but I'll come back and show you what I'm doing here, how I'm processing it, and we'll have a bit of a fossick in some of these old drawers. I honestly do not know what's in here. Dad kept all sorts of stuff, and for those that don't know, Mum and Dad were on this farm for 61 years, so you tend to acquire a lot of stuff in that time. And plus, when Dad and Mum moved here, my grandparents had been here for a little while, so if you never have to clean up, you don't. And on a farm, you have lots of storage room, so there's no pressure to clean up. All right, so Mum's shed is getting more organised. She started sorting out some rocks and stuff since I was last here, which is good, but there's still a lot of stuff in here to process. You may remember, well, those that have been watching, that I had that really cool 50s kitchen bench to sell, and also these really nice 1960s wardrobes that came out of the house. And Mum and Dad had purchased those brand new in the early 1960s. So I didn't actually get to put those on Facebook Marketplace. I had someone watch my last episode when I was here, previous trip, and they spotted them and they're quite keen to purchase. So that was Rose, I think, from memory. So that's great. So I didn't even have to advertise those. We're going to arrange someone to pick them up soon. They still have relatives that live in the area. And a friend also, well, I had listed this for sale for $100, and a friend messaged me straight away, and so I'm going to save that one as well. So essentially we've sold all of those, $100 each for those wardrobes. So $200 there, $100 for that very retro kitchen bench. So good results there. This time I want to get some photos of this cabinet. Mum's decided she doesn't want to take it with her to Nagambie, which I'm pleased about because it's super heavy. So I'll do some photos of that, grab some measurements, and I'll list that on Facebook Marketplace before I come over next time. I think I'll probably ask $500 for it. It should have a pelmet across the top, and that is here somewhere. So it's kind of incomplete, but it's a nice original early 1900s, maybe 1920s, and would have been nickel plated display cabinet from a shop. So it's a nice piece. It would actually fix up really well, and for those that have been around for a long time on my channel will remember that I actually had one of these in my shop, and I did sell it for about $750. So I'll take some photos, we'll finish cleaning it up, I'll get some measurements, and we'll try and market that for $500, and hopefully someone can pick it up here and I don't have to lift it. Then also this week I thought I might try and work my way along here a little bit more, empty some more cupboards, and they'll probably be freebies. Most of these cupboards I think will just be giveaways because there's really no value in them. They're certainly not being taken back to Nagambie. So that will make a bit of space. Back in the workshop now, and it's getting late, so I won't do much more, but I'll just show you actually what I'm doing. I've got a tub here for non-ferrous bits and pieces. There's brass, there's stainless steel brackets, well, that's brass too, it's an old water tap washer, there's large fittings. So any non-ferrous stuff's going in there. This tub's just for like tools, Allen keys, drill bits. That's actually from one of those 3-prong garden hose. A little tray that will be handy for sorting at home. I have a magnet with me, and I'm just going through the bench. I mean, I didn't tip something out. This is just how it is. So you do have a lot of random tins full of stuff. Some of the stuff Dad had sorted, but others was a total lucky dip. So I'm just going through this, and any heavy steel, that's actually one side of a support from one of those really old theatre seats that used to pivot. So that's no good for anything. And I've got a drum here for heavy melt steel, so that can go in there. I get about 30 kilos per drum, and I will be taking that to Melbourne at some stage. So I've been stacking up drums of all the scrap. The old paint can there, I'm just putting lighter gauge stuff like nails, screws, rusty stuff, little bits of metal that hasn't got much weight. Same with that tin, I'm going to fill that the same. I have a bag for rubbish. And so I'm sorting through, and any good bolts, I'm not going to too much trouble, but good clean bolts, or at least the thread's good, I'm just putting them in tins, and I'll sort all these out back at home and probably fill jars, and I can sell them through the shop. So it might sound like a lot of work, but I'm being pretty quick and ruthless about it. So it's heavy steel in the bucket. Any bolts that look a bit rough, and sometimes they've even been cut off, there's just bits of bolts. So that's actually, I think, a seatbelt bolt. We might keep that one. But yeah, most of these, any old rusty ones, larger ones, unless they're really nice looking ones, I won't bother with them. They can just go in the heavy melt steel, because I'll get pretty good dollars for that. There's a large coach bolt here. Same thing, I'm not going to keep that. The old Lockwood door lock here is mostly brass. That can go in probably in my dirty brass or irony brass bin. That looks like a nut off a Victor flywheel or something. That's probably good enough to keep. Old coach bolts I don't usually keep, especially if they're second-hand ones. So a lot of the big heavy bolts and old rusty ones are just going straight in the drum for the heavy melt steel for scrap. And then we've got some more brass fittings here. That looks like, oh geez, I don't know. I thought it might have been off an old Oxy set, but I'm not sure that it is. But it is brass, so we'll take that one. There's another one of those seat things, just a bracket for construction or something. Dad used to make a lot of his old sheds and things here. I'm not going to keep that. And these larger bolts all can go in the drum for heavy melt steel. There's all sorts of things. That's the inner, that's actually part of a thrust bearing out of a clutch on a car. There's bearings off machinery here. That one looks pretty average. That can just go in the scrap as well. That bit I think is brass. Let's check it. No, it's steel. Okay, that can go down in the drum. So you can see what I'm doing. I get through it pretty quickly. I'm not keeping everything, of course. I just can't, but I don't want to just throw it all in the rubbish either. And any heavy stuff I might as well save to take to the scrapyard. All right, my phone's nearly flat and I think it's time to go in. I'll get back to this tomorrow morning. Good morning, guys. It's a beautiful sunny morning after a chilly start. I've been in the shed for a couple of hours. I've had the fire going, and now it's time to run out to the transfer station and get rid of all this wire and tin. I made it out here okay and nothing fell off the trailer. It's only about 2 or 3 kilometres, or maybe maybe a couple of miles from the farm to here. It used to be just a rubbish tip, as in the word tip comes from a huge big hole in the ground, and where I'm standing has probably got absolutely decades of rubbish under it. You can see it's actually built up quite high compared to those trees down there. So as a kid, we used to come out here, you'd back a load of whatever rubbish up to a big hole in the ground. It didn't matter what the rubbish was, and you just tipped it all in. And then every month or so, a big dozer would come out and fill the big trench in and then dig a new one. And that's just how it worked. But nowadays it's a transfer station. Over near the office there where I came in, there's bins for general rubbish, and you put your general rubbish in the bins and they take them away to some other processing plant or large landfill. The other various containers and sheds are for chemical drums and for recyclables and all sorts of other things, batteries, e-waste. They actually charge for e-waste here. There's a big pile of just green waste, so branches and trees over there. I don't know if they charge for that here or not. There's an area for concrete, and it's a pretty quiet little place. I mean, you don't usually meet anyone else out here. Sometimes there's someone else unloading. This is a scrap metal pile, and anything that's metal can go here, and pleasingly they actually take fridges and freezers here without any concern about the gas, and they just say, yeah, dump them in the metal pile. So that pleases me, because at home they charge to get rid of fridges and freezers. So sometimes you can pick up some good little bits and pieces here. I don't really need to fossick for stuff, but you know, being who I am, I can't help have a wander around and a bit of a look. I did see, this would be really cool in the front yard. It's the cab off a really early truck, or when I say really early, maybe 1940s or 50s. And someone has just carted this out here and dumped it. I don't know if it's an old Bedford or a Commer or some sort of old truck body. But that would make a pretty cool kids' playhouse fixed up a bit. It actually doesn't look too bad. The windscreen's still in it. But anyway, we're not here to take stuff home. Mainly just a lot of galvanised iron, some quite good stuff actually. It's a shame that people can't sort of rehome it before they bring it here, but at least it does get recycled. And that looks like a windmill tower. So, and it's actually got an old enamel light shade on top of it. Now they sell for pretty good money, although that's been a bit bent up. And I can see a brass tap in there and lots of other stuff of sorts that, shall we just say, I wouldn't put in the pile to go to the tip. But then again, we're all different, and some people clean up without any regard to anything and just ditch it as quick as they can. And other people, like myself, try to be the ultimate recycler and keep as much as possible out of landfill and get as much value out of things as we can. There's a really old fridge in there too. I think it's a fridge. Okay, enough talking. Let's get this unloaded. Now that fire restrictions have lifted, it was a good chance to burn some old plywood bits and pieces and a couple of chipboard cupboards that were of no value. No wind today, perfect still day for burning, so quite safe. As you can see, the paddocks don't have much in them. However, I probably should have kept an eye on it, because the fire has tracked across and started burning some of this old pea straw which we had here for garden mulch. So no dramas, but I'm glad I caught it when it did, because in that shed it's half full of hay. We wouldn't want that to go up, although it's very old hay and not of much value. Anyway, I better rake this out and make sure it doesn't spread any further. Okay, we're under control now, and I've cleaned up all the other bits of timber that were lying around this garden area, and some of the timber bits that were over near where the wagon was parked did have some live white ants under them. So anyway, all that timber's gone on the fire. I think I'm under control here with the smouldering bits of straw, so I'll keep an eye on it though. And it's cleaned up pretty well, this yard, except for all the sheets of tin that divided off for little gardens, and we'll pull them out and stack them up and either sell them or give them away at some stage in the future. It doesn't have to be done now. We'll also deal with that little shade house at some stage, but that can be down the track a bit. So yeah, this yard's pretty well organised. Anything more I'm cleaning out of the sheds can go on the fire. I'll probably rake it up tonight when it's cooler, and there might be more stuff to go on it tomorrow. But yeah, happy with that. Beautiful. Okay, you win. That's a much better plume of smoke than what I made. Some neighbouring farmer is burning a stubble off, which is quite a common sight this time of the year. They need to prepare their paddocks for cropping, and sometimes they can mulch or sow through the old stubble. Sometimes it's just too much and they have to burn it off. So yeah, good plume of smoke, that one. I'll take an honourable second, I think. So I've been jumping from job to job all around the place today. The workshop is coming along nicely. I'll do some more out here this evening. And since I've had the fire going, I've been cleaning up various parts all around the place. Some of the space in front of Mum's car here, there was a trestle there which I've cleaned off, and we've actually moved that inside, and I'll show you why in a second. I've taken some more scrap steel, some heavier scrap steel, down to the machinery graveyard whilst the trailer was empty, and I had another guy come to pick up some old tractor parts. I don't know if you remember, there's some old Sift tractor parts, 1950s down the lane, and the guy that bought the injector pump that I had for sale ages ago, I told him about them and he came over and picked up a few bits and saved them from the scrap pile, and I got 50 bucks in my pocket, so that's good. Got a bit more cleaned out from here, but I still have to do some photos of that rock cabinet over there. Probably should do that now while the light's pretty good. But I'll just show you what I've been doing. We'll go for a walk inside, and Mum's feverishly packing up stuff that she's going to need over in Nagambie, because it's going to be a couple of weeks before she gets back here. So I've kind of just said maybe treat it as a 2-week holiday and take enough clothes and food and things that you're going to need for 2 weeks. And then we can always round up whatever you need in the next trip. Around the yard's pretty neat. I've been picking up lots of bits of timber and scrap and stuff, taking it to the designated piles. The garden's quite lush actually. The rain we had recently really picked it up. But let's have a wander through the house. We've got a big pile of boxes on the veranda over there. The trolleys are ready. This is really, it's starting to get real now. There's a room out the back here I haven't shown you. This is known as the separator room, where we used to separate milk. And there's a bit of stuff in here to clean up too, including a second fridge, lots of garden stuff. So, and we'll want to take those shelves across for the shed at Nagambie. So we'll get into here later today as well. Let's go in through the back door. A bit of stuff in the laundry to pack up. Bathroom to the right, some of that's been done. This kitchen table we're going to leave here. Whoop, Mum's just sneaking out the other door quickly. The kitchen table we're going to leave here, and some of the chairs, because we'll be back regularly. But I've just started dismantling the large table that was in the lounge room, because we'll be able to use this at the new house. Much easier to take the legs off, and it should stack in the van, probably on its side. So I've set up the trestle. That's the trestle that was out near Mum's car, and it gives us a flat surface to work on. Everything's looking very, very messy because we've got boxes everywhere. And there's still a lot of stuff to pack up. We'll have to take a TV with us. This desk we should take as well. And I think we're going to take that little freezer. We'll probably leave this fridge here for now. So boxes everywhere. And most of you probably would have experienced moving house numerous times. Mum never has. And we all know that it looks pretty messy while you're packing up. But that's fine. Although the stress is trying to find things, and that will be ongoing for a while. The bedrooms are pretty well done. The spare bedrooms, Greg and his wife Estella packed up a lot of that stuff when they were here last. There is a chest of drawers in here to go. And this bed where I've been staying in the spare room, the other bed's gone. This is the room the piano was in originally. And we're almost starting to hear an echo. You guys know I love an echo. So we are getting somewhere. So, okay, there's a walk through the house. I better finish taking this table apart, and we need to start getting stuff in the van. Well, it's been a long day, guys. I'm back in the shed this evening. The fire's going. I've just had the radio on. It's about 9 o'clock, so I might just pack it in for the night. I've been sorting out a bit more stuff here. You can see I've got these shelves emptied. Haven't found anything really interesting. We'll get into these drawers down below tomorrow and have a bit of a look. We didn't get back to that today. I did find a nice little quart BP tin, so that's probably $20 or $30. That's all right. It's nice to find those. I've packed up some more rubbish, some more recycling. We managed to empty the shelf in the separator room, and I've got that ready to load. I did get the table out of the house, and that's actually in the van, so we have started loading. The other event today, and I actually forgot about it because I've been out here working tonight, the wagon finished on eBay and it didn't get a bid. Now, I think probably I talked people out of it by, waving that red flag and saying there's termites in it. It's really not that bad. So I'm fine that it didn't sell on eBay because there would have been fees and everything. I think I'm going to promote it now through some of the Facebook groups. It's not in the road. It can sit there for now. I'll market it around this district and see if we can find a local buyer. The trouble with eBay is that a lot of people probably would love it, but they're like interstate and it's just not practical to move it that far. Whereas if I can find someone within half an hour's drive, well, they can hire a car trailer and it's quite achievable. So I'm not worried about that, but I will now do some extra marketing on that. What else have I got to report? Oh, the fires are all out, no problems there. I didn't burn down anything. Got rid of a lot of stuff today. So it was one of those days where I did a lot of walking. You know, you'd carry something out to the fire that I've got out of the shed, and then on the way back, because I didn't like to waste a trip, I would backload with something. So I'd find some steel posts or some scrap metal that had to come back here, and then I'd walk somewhere else, or I'd notice something on the way and get distracted and do that. So it's been one of those days. But we've got a fair bit done. We'll be back out in the shed here first thing in the morning. We will do some fossicking in these boxes under here because I don't know what's under here, and there might be some cool stuff. And we need to get the van loaded. So that's the priority for tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.